an opportunity came up on 2017 where one of the aspirants who used to be a CEC left, so an opportunity came. I joined the county as a CEC in industrialization, energy, ICT and research. That is a CECM. Briefly from April to August. When my boss, who was then the first governor, was replaced, we also had to leave. And since then, I've been doing entrepreneurship from what I'd said in number one. Last but not least, I'm a family man, married to one wife and blessed with 2 boys. And in spiritual matters, I'm born again and Jesus is my personal savior. Now, from what I've presented to you, Mr. Chairman, this underscores why I bring value to this county.
Thank you, Mr. Friday. So maybe would you please share concisely on your experience, particularly matters public service, public administration, and accounting. Those 3 areas on public service, public administration, and also on accounting. Try to break down now to dive into your experience in handling matters in those 3 lines that I've shared.
Let me jot them down. Matters to do with
public service, public administration, and accounting, or public secretarial service.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Now, from my experience and exposure, which I have said, I've mainly worked mostly in the private sector. Now, when it comes to public service, I only did a stint for 4 months. That is the exposure I had when I was a CECM. That is as a CECM, industrialization, energy, ICT and research, when I joined the county. So for matters with public, because now for me, I was in the private sector. But what I would say is the experience and the exposure I have when to do with service delivery is not far off from the public sector, because there it is a private entity. So usually the operations are slightly different in terms of operations. That's what I would say, Mr. Chair.
So now, thank you for that. What would be your key role as a county secretary, and who would you work very closely with? The key roles of county public, the county secretary, and the key persons that you'll be working closely with. And of great importance also, we'd like you to quote the piece of legislation that establishes your office and what it says.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Number one, as a CS, my first role will be, my boss is the governor. So he'll be assigning me any jobs which I'll be able to do. That is one. Number two, I'm the head of the county public service. Number three, I'll be the link person between entities, that is the county government, in other counties, the legislature, and any communication outside the county. Four, also the ombudsman when it comes to matters to do with the resolution, and matters to do with staff.
That's adequate. What is the the law that establishes your office.
Now
And in particular the section,
yes,
you still have it within yourself.
Yes, it is chapter 6 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. That is what actually revolves around what will be my duties will be in terms of high integrity and in terms of impartiality, in terms of selfless.
I was simply asking, your position is very sensitive to this county, and the position is stipulated, it is established in one of the laws of Kenya, let alone the constitution. One of the laws that establishes the county secretary position. Maybe are you aware of it, or I guide you?
Yes, the one I'm aware of is the County Governments Act. That's where it is established. That is the CS position.
Okay. Maybe to help you further, we'll go read section 44 of County Governments Act, and you'll see what it says about the position of the CS.
Thank you, Chair.
Give us 3 challenges, mainly, at least 3 challenges that you're likely to face as a county secretary, and how you'll handle the challenges.
One is, I'm sure where there are human beings, there'll be dispute resolutions. And when disputes arise, what happens is, from my experience, is you listen to the cause of that dispute. And if it's 2 individuals, you call them separately. First, you listen to each side, then bring them together, sit them together, and come up with a common resolution, which now will be good for both of them. The other challenge, which I see and which I even see from where I am, I'm not in the county yet, is the low motivation from staff, because it's like they don't, let me use a Swahili word, hajitumi. So there must be a reason for that. For me, I'll look at when, like, for instance, if given this opportunity, I become the CS. There's one thing I look at when it comes to staff, to motivate them, for them to be able to deliver. Because what I tend to think is, most of the staff, when they go to work, some of them don't know their roles, what their duties are. Now, if you don't know what you're going to do to the office, you are demotivated. So what I'll be looking at is, get to know the roles of each and every staff, get to know how they're engaged, then get to know whether they are at the right places. Because I can be going to work and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but the reason could be I'm not equipped to do that job. So those are the things I'll be looking at. First of all, equip the person if he or she is not equipped for that job. Then motivation is like introducing incentives, because if, for instance, a performer does well, you reward them, and vice versa.
Chair. Yes, Honorable Shambi.
I just wanted to a clarification from Ndogo Friday. Is mentioned that from where he sits, he can see there is low motivation of staff. How have you been able to measure that?
If I call a staff member, doesn't return my call, doesn't pick my call, and doesn't return my call, that's a signal that is the person is really not motivated.
What?
Sure, it's not satisfactory, but I just beg we proceed.
Thank you. So, Mr. Friday, would now like to create a match between your qualifications and the job you are about to assume, God willing, and if all goes well through this vetting process. So how do you match your qualifications and experience vis-a-vis the position of the county secretary? Please.
Number one, the exposure and the experience I have in the sectors I've worked, they have given me the opportunity and the ability to be able to deal with people, to deal through people, and to deal on people. So with that, looking at the position which I am now, if God willing I get, as the CS, I'll be working through people, with people, and with people, because for you to be able to deliver, you cannot be hands-on everywhere, and you are not a monopoly of all ideas. You have to learn to interact, to use people, to be able to motivate them, to be able to deliver on your behalf.
Honorable Bernard Mundau, the minority leader, take us through the next set of questions, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To you on Friday, explain measures you will propose to improve county public services.
Go ahead. One, what I'll look at, because from the sector I've come from is the private sector, and the private sector mostly uses technology to be able to deliver services, communicate, and all that. So I'm looking at, for the public, when I come to the county as the CS, I'm looking at to be able to integrate, to bring in systems that can be able to make people's work better, communicate better, and also at the same time I can be able to have a dashboard on my desk so that I can be able to see where I'm ailing. For instance, let's say I see a department where if I get reports and get updates online, I can be able to tell that is in this area it needs to be done something, like let's say there's some workforce required, there's some finances required there, something like that. So with technology I can be able to better public service, but that is public services to the public.
Proceed with more additional questions, please, because it's like the response is done.
I had a question for someone. I was trying to follow the media and they are complaining about your age. Then can you clarify that?
What does the media say about my age? Because I'm here to clarify.
Most of them are saying that you are over 60, but I've seen here you are 58 years.
Yes, I'm 58. I turned 58 last month.
So at that age, are you capable of performing your duties?
Very well. You can see from the looks and from my physical.
Thank you. You can go on. Another question. This committee assumes that you have taken time to study the current county government and appointments made so far, where we have advisors that do not form part of the staff establishment. Explain your advice to the government once you join. I repeat?
Yes, please.
This committee assumes that you have taken time to study the current county government and appointments made so far, where we have advisors that do not form part of the staff establishment. Explain your advice to the government once you join.
Let me try and answer it as much as the way I've understood it. You really are asking, how do I advise the county government in terms of the people who are employed, some of them who are not supposed to be there, or the advisors, something like that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you through the chair. Now there are some issues I won't be able to point out when I'm outside. It would be if, for instance, I won't know the requirements of, or let's say, what
Yeah. Page 7. God. You get the question?
Yes, I can go ahead and answer.
Yeah.
Number one, the governor is my boss, so I'll be interacting with him a lot and also advise him to matters to do with the county. Number two, the county executive. Since I'll be the secretary and the holder of the minutes, and also interacting with CCs, also assisting and helping them to deliver their mandate. Number three, the CCOs. Since I'm the head of the public service, I'll also be interacting with them in terms, especially when it comes to managing their dockets, that is under the specific CCs. Number four, that is with the county assembly, which is very critical, especially when it comes to delivery of county services. I'll be interacting with the legislature, that is the county assembly, in terms of reporting quarterly, annually, and also in terms of, for instance, there are matters to do with the having a harmony between the executive and the legislature, because I'm the key person in terms of communication in that line.
Thank you, Mr. Friday, for the responses that you've given so far. So now I welcome Honorable Molega to ask the next set of questions.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Mr. Friday.
Good morning, Your Honor.
I'm Joseph Kennedy, Uncle Mwatate MCA and a member of this committee. I'll just ask my question to you. How will your office implement the following laws? How will your office implement the following laws? A. Constitution of Kenya. B. Public finance. C. County Assemblies Powers and Privileges Act number 6 of 2017. Then D. County Governments Act 2012. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Chair.
Let me understand the question. How will, he said, how will as a CS,
Yes.
be able to apply the following laws? Constitution of Kenya, public finance,
Yes.
county assembly powers and privileges,
Yes.
and then County Government Act.
Yes.
Before I answer, I would want to understand basically the because I'm not clearly getting the gist of the question exactly.
So maybe to assist you, Mr. Friday,
Yes.
The office of the county secretary,
Yes.
the question is just simply asking you as a CS, how will you implement, how will you apply those laws? Now, starting with the Constitution of Kenya, what are the areas that will interact with the Constitution of Kenya most in your position? The Public Finance Management Act, also there is the County Assemblies Powers and Privileges Act and the County Governments Act. So basically, that's what the question is asking.
Right. Now at least I've gotten the gist. Now, how will I, because like in my office, where the constitution where I'll apply is chapter 6, mainly is on which applies to my office, that is the Leadership and Integrity Act. So that will be more in my docket, so that will be my guiding principle. And in the Public Finance Act, because there's the Public Finance Act which also will also guide me in the terms of public finance. But for the other one, for the powers, for the county assembly powers and privileges, I'd be lying if I say no.
County Governments Act.
The County Government Act is because it actually gives all the mandates for its starting from the governor's roles, the CS roles, the CS's roles. So it will be that act will be actually guiding me in terms of what roles they play, so that I can be able to apply it accordingly, according to the Constitution.
Privileges Act, or we give it a pass?
Yes, that one, give it a pass.
Honorable
through the chair, I have the following questions to the nominee. Question 1, explain how you will assist the people of TAITA TAVETA in the event of a looming health worker strike or actual strike? Next question. Explain to this committee how will you help solve the puzzle of unlimited statutory and loans deductions? Explain to this committee how will you help solve the puzzle of unlimited statutory and loans deductions?
The chair.
No. Next question. You can just have all the questions, then you respond one by one. Third question. In the event that this assembly or one of its committees has invited your presence or issued you with a summons to give information pertaining to your docket, and the governor has asked you not to show up, how will you conduct yourself? And last question, how will you handle a county staff who has refused to honor county assembly invitation or summons, and why? Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Mr. Friday, proceed.
Through the chair. Explain how I will assist in the looming health strike. That's the question?
Yes.
Now, first of all,
The first question.
yes.
Yes, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right,
the first
right,
one.
yeah.
That's the first one. Yeah, usually when there is a strike, it means there's a dispute. There's somebody who is unhappy about something. Now, when it comes to a strike, there are various people involved. First of all, there is the CEC of Health who is in charge of that docket, and then there's also who I fall under who is under that mandate is the doctors, the nurses. So now when there's a strike, it's like I'm assuming it's coming from the nurses and doctors and clinical officers. Now, if that is the case, what I'll do as the CS is, first of all, we have to sit and discuss with the in charge of that docket. Then we go down now and also meet the people who are aggrieved, who are now striking, get to the root cause, because some of the causes could be maybe beyond that is the county's level to handle. Maybe it's a national matter. So now to deal at the county levels, we'll be able to know from there, is it something which the county level can be able to do that strike? And if it is, then we come to a resolution and we agree. If it's not, then we have to escalate, and also because I'm the contact person and the link person to the national government, now I'll have to go further up to like the CS for Health and be able to solve that. The second question was explain how I'll help to solve the statutory deductions. Now, statutory deductions, these are these are the ones which are deducted from the salaries for remission to like KRA and the likes. Now, usually what happens, there's a system, because if, as I'd said earlier, for me, I would want to have, if I'm able to, the account is able to invest in a system that can be able to arrest such issues, because one, because for you to be able to, when your least salaries come, the deductions are done. Now, if you don't have a proper system to monitor that, you won't be able to know whether they've been done or not, or they've been remitted or not. So a system is on which can be able to arrest that issue. That's what I'm looking at, and that's what I would be advise the governor to invest on that. In the third question was if is it the one for the governor? Okay, in the event,
Yeah.
in the event the committee,
In the event that this assembly or one of your committees has invited you, your presence, or issued you with summons to give information pertaining to your docket, and the governor has asked you not to show up, how will you conduct yourself and why?
thank you, through the chair. Now that's where I apply the act of leadership and integrity, because it guides me. There is a process which needs to be done. Like, for instance, at the county assembly, as the overseer of the activities of the executive, of the county executive, there should be no reason why I should not be able to do what they are requesting for. That's where now I invoke that, and I stand firm with my governor and tell him, okay, if we go against this, it's not right. That's how I'll approach it. That's how I do it, because I'm protected by the Constitution. If you don't mind, you can give me the last one.
Okay, through the chair. How will you handle a county staff who has refused to honor county assembly invitation or summons, and why? How will you handle a county staff who has refused to honor county assembly invitation or summons, and why?
This yes. There shouldn't be any reason why somebody should not honor someone's who by the county assembly, because I won't see no reason. And for me, how I'll deal with it is that one is basically a disciplinary action.
Thank you, Majority Leader, for the sort of questions that you have taken us through. So I'd like to open this forum to members to ask their questions. But before I do that, I would like to inform the House that in the meantime, let me ask members who have any question to ask Mr. Friday Mwafuga to ask. The floor is open, honorable members.
Chair.
Honorable Shambi, proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair, for this opportunity. Mr. Friday Mwafuga, in his submission about himself, he has given us an account of the work that he has done since the year 1988. And in my personal observation, you have been on the private sector all through and through, apart from the shortest stint that you had with the county government. Now, the job that you are seeking is basically a public office, and not just a normal public office. It is a political office. The question I would want to ask you is, how are you prepared to be able to handle a political office, for that matter, or an office of that nature? Because the reason I'm asking this is because I understand how people from private sector are thorough in implementing their responsibilities. Now you've come to a public space with that experience, and you are expected now to be able to balance between being the thorough Mwafuga you used to be on the private sector and trying to manage politics within the public sector for you to be able to do your job. What is your plan?
Through the chair. Thank you, Honorable. Now, from the short stint I had as a CEC, I got an experience which actually opened my eyes, and also and I said, if I get another stint, I think I'll be able to do a good job about it. First is, let me give you my experience. When I joined, because I'm used to things working in a certain manner in the private sector, it means, let's say for instance, if I want a biro pen, let's pick a biro pen, I'll just immediately go and like pick from somewhere because they're already there. But now when I joined, I asked one time, can I get a biro pen? I told it is a procedure, that is, they have to request, it has to go to. So from that I learned, okay, the public sector works in a different way from the private sector. So for me to be able to, it means I have to adjust to that situation, but not losing focus of what I am there for, because there are some things which I saw I could be able to change. Like, I'll give you an example. When I joined, I called for a meeting, first meeting in my department. Now, when I called that meeting, I said it will be at 9. I called it within 2 weeks. When the day of the meeting came, I was there before because I knew what, as a private sector, you know, time is really key. I was there 10 to 9. By 9, no one had reported. It's only the secretary who came at around 9:05. The second person came at 9:15. The majority came at 9:30. Now my question to them was, they called the meeting at 9. Why are you coming at 10? Then they told me, you know, it is a culture. We know that is, when a meeting is called at 9, we have to report at 10. Then, of course, we went on with the meeting, and then I called for another meeting. And then I told them, the next meeting I call, it's 9. It's 9. If you come 1 minute past 9, show cause why disciplinary action should not be taken against you. The next meeting, by the time it was 9, it was full. So that is the experience. There are some things you can change, and the culture of the public sector, mostly because they're used to, that is, no one is pushing them, no one is ile kujituma, they just wait to be told. That's why, in fact, in the process, what I say now, what I'll do for my people to perform, because my target was to make my department, that is my ministry, the role model. So I decided the first thing I'll do is to have a team building, so that because there are so many reports, one director is coming to report to me saying this one is doing this, doing this. So I decided, let's have a team building. We open up so that we can be able to gel and know each other's roles and functions, so that we can be able to work better. So that's how I'll be able to handle that situation in the public sector. So for me, because if I lose focus and also jail and become one of them, that is why I'll be losing focus. But now for me, because I said when I get this job, I'm going to do it the way I'm supposed to do it.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Omar.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I have a question to you, Mr. Friday, and my question is, what will you do as a CS to solve the issue of nepotism, God willing, if you get this position?
Through the chair. Thank you, Your Honor. Now, nepotism is something which is actually, I would say, it is not some, it is actually, it has brought a lot of discord in communities, because I enter there, I start looking at my brother, my sister, my relative to bring in. Now for me, let's say as a CS, what I'll be able to do, because what has happened before is something I don't know I can do to undo, but going forward, there are things which are so glaring. Okay, this, you brought your relative, you brought your, you want him to be employed. That will be a no-no for me. So that's how I deal with it. Because there's some things you have to say no.
You have a follow-up question? Okay. Any other member? The last one, probably. Okay. Now, Mr. Friday, the committee of this assembly is in receipt of two memorandums, opinions from the public about you, and I would like you to make a remark on the same. Is one that has been forwarded to us by one Victor Wamach, for and on behalf of Mazola Village Community. And allow me to read through it very fast. Opinion, public opinion to the County Assembly of TAITA TAVETA concerning Mr. Friday Mwafuga from and on behalf of Mazola Village in Mwatate Sub-County. Public watchdog observation. Mr. Friday Mwafuga settled in our village of Mazola after moving from Sagala in Voi. He was said to have been working in Nairobi in a banking sector. He lives in our village but does not interact with anybody and does not attend any village functions, including funerals or any church or community activities. He is not even registered in the village book, where villagers contribute during different occasions. He is always in Nairobi most of the time, especially on weekends. According to those who has been hiring as home laborers, he is never friendly. He hires and fires them within a very short period of time, and some of those he fired up until now have their dues unsettled. He changes them as clothes. He mistreats them by overworking and quarreling them. In fact, very few villagers visit his home because many laborers who have worked at his home told people that he thinks that anybody from our village who tries to visit him goes to solicit money from him. People say that he has shares in Mgeno Ranch, but many villagers remember the then chairman, Mr. Bongosa, to brackets, his father-in-law, because Mr. Bongosa is the younger brother to Honorable Eliud Mwafuga, where Mr. Friday married his daughter. Tried to sneak in Mr. Friday to be the chairman, but almost every villager opposed the attempt and could not even be chosen as a director in Ugenu by the villagers. Many villagers claim that he divorced his first wife of Sagala. I think this is just too personal. Okay, let me just stop it at that. Considering that he wants to be in charge of our county workforce that comprises of both married and single ladies, therefore we are concerned of their welfare and opportunities in accordance to Article 32(1) and 45(3) on fundamental rights and equal opportunities. This is the observation from our village of Mr. Friday Mwafuga to the Assembly of People's Representatives, that is MCS, signed by Mr. Victor Momachi. What remark would you make on this, Mr. Friday? Call brief and concise.
Thank you, Chair, because I don't know where to start from, because those are allegations and I don't agree with them, because one, my family is in Nairobi, so weekends I go to Nairobi. When I come to the here it means I come to work. And then the issue of attending funerals, because I need to know there's a funeral where. If now I'm not informed or no one has told me, how will I be able even to know to attend? And then the issue of unfriendliness and firing the employees left and right. If an employee steals from you, what do you do, Mr. Chair? You just let them go. And then I want to know who the one who says the dues were not paid, because the last one who left, in fact, I paid even for each subsequent year she worked, and she had a family, and I gave her plus everything, plus the beds and everything.
Thank you. Let me read you the second one. We, the undersigned, citizens of Kenya, residents of TAITA TAVETA, signed by over 25 persons, draw the attention of the Honorable House to the nominee from the Governor for the position of County Secretary called Jackson Friday Mwafuga, and express our wish to strongly reject the said nomination because of the following underlying reasons and concerns. 1. The fact that the nominee happens to be a close relative of the Governor, into brackets, as his son-in-law, married to the daughter of the former Mwatate MP, Honorable Eliud Mwafuga, the first cousin of the current Governor, Andrew Mwadime. This nepotism issue is a matter already in public domain and has really generated a lot of resistance, objection, and controversy among the residents, and it actually contravenes Article 232(1)(g) of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, provision for fair open brackets, provision for fair competition and merit in public appointments and promotions, close the bracket. 2. The fact that the nominee was ranked number 4th during the interviews as per the report compiled by the recruitment selection panel is in public domain. Therefore, considering the interview report, which was based on the comparative performance scores amongst the 13 shortlisted candidates, causes such nomination to contravene the provision of section 44(2)(a) and 44(2)(b) of the County Governments Act 2012 on competitive recruitment process and Article 232(1)(g) of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, on fair competition and merit. 3. The nominee served in the county government under Governor John M. Ruto in the position of County Executive Committee Member CCM for ICT, but only for about 6 months, that is May 2017 to October 2017, a short period of time whose experience cannot seriously be relied for gauging the candidate body. Therefore, as your humble petitioners, we pray that the County Assembly of TAITA TAVETA will consider these issues and reject or close the bracket, decline to approve the nominee for appointment to the position of County Secretary. And your humble petitioners will ever pray. From here, I can see over 25 people that have signed, their names, their full addresses, their ID numbers, and also appended their signatures. What do you have to say, Mr. Wisdom? Mr. Friday Mamburi. Sorry for that. Sorry, members. You know,
It's okay, Mr. Chair.
some people are so profound within us, so sometimes we find mentioning them. Proceed, please.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start with the son-in-law. Is it brother-in-law? With the governor. You see, I'm married to Chavia. My father-in-law is Mcharo Mwakio. He used to be an MP. And the issue of the relationship, in fact, I got to know just when sometimes back, but the relationship is not close. So I was wondering, why would people say that is related to the governor? Is it because I'm getting this position? And then the governor, besides the relationship, if there was a relationship, first of all is the qualifications. If I've qualified, it will be nepotism. But for him, what he looked at, because he knew the relationship is not that close, and this person is fit to be able to deliver he'll be able to deliver for him. I think that's why he picked on me. But in terms of closeness of other relationship, I think that's not something that you as a house should consider.
Thank you, Mr. Friday. I think we've had a good session with you, and we are just within the tenets of time that we had set before. So kindly share with us your parting shots before we adjourn the sitting. Carry on.
Thank you, Chair. Number one, I would like to thank you and thank the governor for giving me an opportunity to come and discuss these pertinent issues of this docket of the CS. And to tell you the truth, I think he picked the right person, because I believe I can deliver, because I know myself. Now, there are a few things which I was looking at, which I think you can allow me to go through, which areas, because one of the issues that are ailing our county is lack of on-source revenue, which is very key. Relying on the equitable kitty and grants is not enough. So for me, I would look at, there are a few things which I would look at, let's say, I'll call them low-hanging fruits, which if implemented, we can improve our on-source revenue. Currently standing at 200, the projected 400, that's not much. TAITA County is endowed with lots of riches, minerals, agriculture. All you need is to put policies in place, and that's where now I was talking about being, if I'm when we have a harmonious relationship between the executive and the legislature, there's so many things that can be done in this county and will be at another level. So I'm looking at one is a carbon credit. Because TAITA has so many hills, so many with the trees, with the forests. Now, I would want to see that is the county coming up with a policy, with the legislature, so that we can be able to capture this carbon credit and can bring us a lot of money. I'll give you an example. Mgeno Ranch, where I'm a shareholder, is get carbon credit, and the money is quite good, and it's just a small area which is 53,000 acres. If, for instance, if the county can utilize all these hills around, I think that's an area where we can think of. Then there's another place which I'm thinking of is agriculture, large scale farming. This can be done because TAITA is endowed with many water bodies, like the likes of Lake Chala, Lake Chipe, Njolo Springs. As long as the county government focuses on one, bringing water and then supplying water, we can be supplying the fruits, bananas, like which we do from Taveta, and vegetables to other counties, and that boosts our revenue. The other one is the mining sector. The mining sector has been neglected for long. We are sitting on a gold mine, but we are not putting policies in place to be able to utilize this resource. Number one, there is the gem center in Voi. Currently, it doesn't even have a leadership. It is here, neither there. That's one area where the county, if it engages the county, the national government, and together, we can put policies in place so that a small artisan from the Shimoko in the bush can be able to go and get value from the gem center. We have a university here, this sector, the mining sector. Those are I would say the low-hanging fruits we can be able to do and be able to get on source revenue to increase. There's another one which already I can see one of the members here has floated it, which I had it in mind in terms of the game park, which occupies 65% of our county, to be able to lobby and be able to get some revenue there. So those are looking at low-hanging fruits which can be able to have its own source revenue and not rely too much on the national government, and that we will be able to do many projects. I'm sure you as MCAs, you have projects which you put in place and you want them to perform. If the county government is getting billions, then there you are. You won't have any problems. Then the other thing, the final, is motivation of staff. I think that's one of the things which I do is you can introduce incentives, and incentives works in either way. You perform, you do well, you get bonus. If you don't, it's the other way. It's both sides. That is my parting shot.
Thank you, Mr. Friday Mwafuga, for that parting shot. Sergeant at Arms can return his documents so that first he verifies whether they have been turned all as required. Then we can all in order, sir?
Yes, Your Chair, in order.
Thank you very much. Thank you, honorable members, for sparing time so that we can have this sitting. We look forward to do report writing. Before you leave, the sitting has not adjourned, sir. May you can resume your seat. So,
pardon me, Mr. Chair. Yes,
it's okay. It's okay. It's understood. Probably you've never been into this kind of an environment recently. So, honorable members, thank you. And we look forward towards report writing and adopting the report that shall be coming forth. Otherwise, thank you, and the sitting is hereby adjourned. Asante sana. You may now leave, Mr. Friday. Committee members, appointments, committee members can